Welcome aboard, Air Transport Statistics Channel, broadcasting from the Netherlands. In this channel, you can find air transport related data, and I hope it can assist you with your investment in the aviation industry. In the series of videos, I am going to explain the top 10 passenger airlines by revenue. Today, I am going to analyze ANA, or Nippon Airways from Japan. As you can see, ANA is ranked number 9 among the top 10 passenger airlines. Firstly, we will see the general description of the ANA Group or ANA Holdings. The airline was founded in 1952 in Japan, and its headquarters is located in Tokyo. Once Japan Airlines used to be the biggest airline in Japan, but after the bankruptcy of JAL 2010 caused by the financial crisis, currently ANA is larger and regarded as a national flag carrier. It has 2 international hubs, Tokyo Haneda and Tokyo Narita airports. Traditionally, ANA separated Narita as an international hub and Haneda as a domestic hub. However, the slots of Haneda was expanded in 2010 due to the completion of a new runway, and international flight from Haneda was allowed since then. As a result, ANA takes dual hub strategy, same as Lufthansa. Because Haneda is much closer to Tokyo's central business district, it attracts more lucrative business passengers from Tokyo area in these years. Moreover, Haneda can easily capture domestic passengers from other Japanese airports, so it can connect Japanese regional airport and foreign destination. While many international flights were shifted from Narita to Haneda, Narita mainly serves as hub for international connection hub. Especially, for trans-Pacific routes, it bridges between Asia and America. Actually, many passengers from Asian cities transfer at Narita and fly to North America including the US, Canada, Mexico. It is a member of Star Alliance since 1999. It has 48 international destinations and 53 domestic destinations excluding code-sharing flights by other operators. The group has 45,849 employees. Subsidiary airlines are composed of Air Japan, which operates mainly in Asia, ANA Cargo, ANA Wings, which operates domestically, and Peaches LCC. Moreover, ANA announced in this October that they will establish a new long-haul LCC airline, which is similar to Zip Air from Japan Airlines in order to cope with the corona pandemic after effect. ANA has joint ventures with United and Lufthansa Group including Swiss International and Austria Airlines. This is the international network of ANA. Historically, ANA has strong presence in Asia, especially in China. As you can see, still there are high frequency to Chinese destinations. Once ANA overtook Japan Airlines, ANA has developed long-haul flights as well. With the cooperation with United, ANA expands various American destinations including San Jose. It also gained multiple destinations in Europe like Dusseldorf in Germany and Brussels. Due to the Tokyo Olympic in 2020 and more tourists to Japan, ANA aggressively tried to establish new destinations such as Perth in Australia or Stockholm in Sweden. However, corona pandemic baffles its expansion strategy. This is the business portfolio of the airline. Air transport section including cargo service account for around 75%. Then airline-related business comes next. Travel service and trade and retail segment have small fragment of the share. Next, fleet information. This is the unique analysis of my channel which is always overlooked by other analysts. The group has 307 aircraft in total. Large aircraft including A380 has a share of 20%, which is relatively high. Japanese Airlines uniquely operates large aircraft in domestic flight as well. This is due to the fact that Haneda Airport had very limited capacity in comparison with large air travel demand. ANA also operated Boeing 747 jumbo jet in domestic flights. Because of the expansion at Haneda, it has downsizing trend. But still large aircraft like Boeing 777s are operated. Middle-size aircraft such as Boeing 787s accounts for 34%. Small aircraft is 38%, and roughly 8% of regional small aircraft. So, the high number of large aircraft is actually problematic during this corona era, because many large aircraft are grounded but still they cost a lot as fixed cost. The biggest issue is Airbus 380, which were delivered last and this year. It is designated to Honolulu flight, but obviously there is no demand for this route. ANA operates 12 freighter jets including 777 and 767. Compared to other main nation airlines, it has less amount. Again, cargo is very important source of revenue during the pandemic era. Average age of aircraft is 8.8 years, which is relatively young. This is good during ordinary time, but in this era, it is different. If it is old, they can easily retire their old aircraft like Delta. But if it is too young, airlines hesitate to do so, especially considering the case of A380. Lease ratio is 32%, which is comparably low figure compared to other airlines, while compared with Japan Airlines, it is a bit high. If there are many leased aircraft, they have to keep paying for them or even do not use the aircraft, or even they want to lease back the aircraft, though there are some exceptions. By the way, please note that this figure includes financial lease aircraft. For your information, this is the categorization I made for this analysis. Here is basic financial information, as of December 31st, 2019 except market capitalization. The revenue amount is $18.6 billion. Profit is $0.9 billion and profit ratio is 4.8%, which is not so high. Load factor is relatively low due to the expansion strategy in recent years, and this might affect the profit result. Asset is $23.6 billion. Market capitalization is 7.343 billion yen as of 16th of December. Equity ratio is 41.4%, which is the highest among the top 10 airlines. Number of yearly passenger is 61. 5 million people. Cargo ratio is 6.1%, which is relatively low compared to other main nation carriers. In this sense, it is more vulnerable to the pandemic. Domestic ratio is 52%, which is very high than others. And this is a good sign, because during this pandemic, international border is strictly controlled, so domestic flight is precious source of revenue. Load factor is 73%, which is the lowest among the top 10, except Chinese carriers which do not have data. The higher the figure, the more it is productive, so this is not good result relatively. This is ANA Holdings financial results for the 6 months ended September 30th, 2020. Please note that the unit is billion Japanese yen. ANA's fiscal year commences from April. As you can see, the operating revenues in first half of 2020 fiscal year is minus 72% compared to the one of 2019. Consequently, it scores 118 billion yen loss. This is a huge loss, and it is expected that the second half year will have worse figure. Moreover, it is worth mentioning that debt amount is rapidly growing, which causes an unhealthy condition. Financial condition of every airlines will be listed and compared in the final video of this series, after we went through all airlines. This is the comparison of flight schedule change year over year published by OAG. It illustrates how much extent do flights come back to the air. The lower the number, the more flights are cancelled. I would like to see this in order to see the impact of the pandemic on each country. The bottom one shows the data of Japan. Japan shows the second higher figure next to China. This means that Japanese flight cancelling rate is still better than other countries. It is largely attributed to the fact that Japanese airlines have high ratio of domestic flights, because it is a Long Island country. Look at this statistic data. The right red squared part shows the comparison of international markets of Japan between 2019 November and 2020 November. You can see that international market plummeted extensively compared with the last year. Because Japanese government has imposed strict border control to enter Japan, so the drop is very large. Meanwhile, the left side blue box indicates the comparison of domestic market. It decreased to some extent, but it is not as much as international flights. The high ratio of domestic flight is safer for ANA. Also, the Japanese national government has promoted domestic travel with generous subsidies, which is named Go to Travel campaign. Thus many passengers actually return to the air. By contrast, European countries like Spain, Germany, UK and small countries such as Singapore and Hong Kong have terrible situation mainly due to limited or non-domestic market. In this sense, ANA has better environment than others. Look at the corona situation in Japan. I am going to look into this because it is no doubt that COVID-19 affects the air travel demand enormously. Left side shows the number of cases, and right exhibits the death toll in the country. Japan has currently in the middle of the third wave, and it is expected to grow furthermore. Plus the current situation is the worst so far. The death toll reaches more than 50 per day recently, and this is very serious. As some data explains, I personally think that the situation gets worse when it gets colder. Therefore, January is the coldest month in Japan, so the figure keeps increasing until January, I assume. As a result, the government announced on December the 13th the suspension of the pre-mentioned Go to Travel campaign nationwide in order to stop the flow of people from December the 28th to January the 11th. Moreover, if the situation will not be recovered, it can be extended. Additionally, many of air travelers use the subsidy, so large impact on the airlines are expected. Essentially, the announcement effect of the suspension is very wide, which can be regarded as soft lockdown. Therefore, business air travel demand also can be diminished. Consequently, the airlines are going to cut their domestic flights. This is the stock chart of ANA since 2000. The current price as of December the 16th, 2020, is 2,260 yen. The highest price of 4,970 was scored in 2001 and 2006. This is 220% amount of the current price. The lowest price is 1,590 yen marked in 2012 after the Great Earthquake and other disasters in Japan. This is 70% amount compared to the recent figure. Obviously, recent figure in 2020 is stagnated due to the pandemic. Lastly, this is the chart in last 1 year. Before the corona, it was 3,706 yen, which is 164% of recent figure, so 64% higher than today. Compared to other airlines, ANA has more stagnated, which I personally think that ANA has more potential to bounce back to the previous figure. The lowest figure is 2,117 yen marked in July during the second wave of pandemic in Japan. After that, the government has introduced the travel campaign and many people returned to the air travel, so the stock price recovered to some extent. Then, due to the unfavorable financial result released in October and the rumor of capital increase caused another decline of the price. The price jumped up by the vaccine news, but capital increase was actually implemented in December and also corona situation is getting worse, so again the price is decreasing these days. It is noticeable that the price is near the lowest figure. In my view, the price is going to decrease, so we need to keep our eyes on it. Especially, the situation of corona in Japan is very important as ANA hugely depends on domestic market. However, I think once the corona situation is getting better, then it is a big chance to buy the stock. Also, Japan needs to import large amount of vaccine for 120 million of population, so there is a chance for ANA to win the contract for the vaccine transport. Although ANA has few freighter aircraft, they can carry cargo with passenger aircraft, like the way that American passenger carriers such as United transport vaccine by passenger aircraft. I am sure that the news will be big stimulus for the airline and stock price. Also, ANA's recovery of the price is lagged compared to others, so again, there is a huge chance to bounce back steeply when it gets back on right track. In the meantime, ANA recorded huge loss by the pandemic. It was a bad luck that their expansion and the pandemic shock collided. Their large fleet size and staffs results in huge amount of fixed cost even they ground so many jets. Culturally, it is very hard to lay off their workers in Japan. ANA retired many old large aircraft and dispatched many workers to other companies, but still their cost remains high. The share of debt is also high compared to Japan Airlines, so you need to recognize the risk of it as well. They are obviously required to slim down their size of business. This is the end of an analysis. Please remind that your investment shall be done with your responsibility and careful decision. In the next video, I am going to see the case of China Southern Airlines. Thank you for your attention, and I would like to see you again.